Good day. I bring you greetings from our office in America, actually in Urbandale, Iowa. And the purpose of this is a training video to prepare you to come on a short-term mission trip with Blessman Ministries to the country of South Africa. Our ministry base is located in the northern province in South Africa. The name of the province is the Limpopo province. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours drive north of Johannesburg. Your flight will be out of Atlanta, and it's a non-stop flight to Johannesburg, and some of our staff will pick you up at the airport, help you exchange your American dollars for rand, and then transport you up to Shikaru Game Lodge, which is where our ministry base is located. There are a few things that will be helpful to prepare you for this trip. One of them is praying. We highly recommend that you start praying for your trip, for the safety of your journey, and for God to provide for you, to provide the funds. And we'd like to have you also seek out 2 prayer partners that will be praying for you while you're on this mission trip. Raising your funds, some of you will be able to just write a check for your mission trip, but it is a mission trip, and it's very appropriate to write some letters of support to your friends, your employer, family, and see if other people would like to join with you in this mission trip, and then it'll be your job to report back to these same people what's going on and what God's doing on this mission trip. It'll be a blessing to the people that are supporting you. I also urge you to invest some time and energy in learning about the South African culture before you come. Nelson Mandela just passed away at the end of 2013, and there were lots of news reports about his passing. He wrote an autobiography that I've personally read and enjoyed called A Long Walk to Freedom. There's now a movie about the same book. Highly recommend that you either get the book or go to the movie to learn about Nelson Mandela, but more importantly to learn about the African culture. There's another movie that was just out in 2013 called 12 Years a Slave. Very difficult movie to watch because it depicts the terrible treatment that the black African slaves underwent here in America, and it was very similar in South Africa. I do not recommend you take your children to this movie, but it might be good for the adults to go and just get a little better understanding about the culture of how things work with the slave population, the slave trade 200 years ago, and actually up until 1994 in our country of South Africa. Another good book is James Michner's book, The Covenant. It's about a 900-page book. It was written in the early 1990s. Actually, it was written before apartheid ended. But it's a good story of the white settlement of the country of South Africa. I've written a book called Passion with a Purpose, and I highly recommend that each of you get a copy of that and read it before you come on your mission trip. It'll help you to understand me. The first half of the book is basically an autobiography about my life, and then the second half of the book is about our work in South Africa. A lot of beautiful pictures in the book. You can get it online by going on our website and having us mail you a copy. If you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, you can stop by the office and pick up a copy. The book, Passion with a Purpose, is $25. We also have 3 devotional books that we highly encourage you to obtain, and we'll send them out to all participants on the mission trip. One book you read before you come, one you read while you're on your mission trip, and it'll help you with the devotions that we do on the mission trip. And then there's one sort of a debriefing book that is quite helpful for you to have also. As far as vaccinations, there are no vaccinations required to come to our particular area of Africa. We live in a malaria-free zone, so you don't have to take malaria preventative pills. Now, if you do a side trip to Kruger National Park or Victoria Falls, those are in malaria zones, so you'll want to visit with your doctor and get a prescription for medication if you plan to do those side trips. You will need a passport and some important information about your passport. It must have at least 6 months between the time you come home and its expiration date, or they will not let you travel. You also need to be sure you have some empty pages in your passport, or again, they will stop you at the airport and make you take care of that before you can make your trip to South Africa. I highly urge all of you to stop by a travel medicine office or your own physician just to discuss with your doctor your plans to go to Africa and make sure that your physician and you agree that you're healthy enough to make this trip. We like to spend a little time helping you to bond with each other when you're coming on a mission trip with us. We recommend that each team that's coming have approximately 3 meetings before they come to Africa, and this video will be part of one of your meetings, and then a couple of other meetings that we could do phone conferences for people that are outside the Iowa area, and Skype chats and that sort of thing. I also highly urge you to get telephone numbers of your fellow team members and emails so that you begin getting to know each other. All of you will likely meet in the Atlanta airport, and then you'll bond during the flight. Excuse me. You'll bond during the flight, and we will fetch you in the Johannesburg airport, and then take over all of the arrangements once you get to South Africa. Again, would like to have you spend some time reading through the 3 devotional books, just spiritually preparing you for your mission trip. People tend to, as far as packing goes, people tend to bring too many things. I'm always impressed with the folks that pack light. We have laundry facilities available for you, and we usually expect people to wear their clothes for about 3 days. We don't check to see that you're not wearing the same things you were wearing yesterday, but it's very appropriate to just bring a small number of clothes. Depending on the time of year you'll come, we'll let you know what the weather is like, and we have a team training manual that will list average temperatures for the time that you are coming. One important thing I urge you all to bring is a flashlight. We call them torches in Africa. Rain gear if you're coming during the raining season, which is somewhere around November through the end of January. And rain gear would be just a light poncho. We also urge you to bring one nice outfit to wear to church, and sometimes we'll have meetings with high-level officials, and you'll want to have some nicer clothes for that. We have a team manual that I strongly urge that you take time and become very familiar with it. It'll answer many of your questions that will come up as you're preparing for your trip. Each team, we try to have a team leader, and we'll let you know who that is for your team. And once you have questions, look for the answers in the team manual, and then if you don't get an answer there, get a hold of your team leader, and they will get answers for you. If there are issues that they need to bring to myself or my wife Beth, they will. The other 2 leaders of our ministry is Dustin and Renee Blessman, and when you get to South Africa, we ask that your team leaders bring all issues to one of the 4 of us, but most issues can be handled by your team leader. Just to tell you a bit about what you'll be doing while you're with us in South Africa. I like to take a walk daily through the African bush, and I invite all of you who want to join me to do that. We usually take that walk about 6 o'clock in the morning, depending on when the sun rises. We'll also do a short daily devotional, and this is not a church service or a long sermon. We expect the daily devotional to be somewhere around 15-20 minutes, just to help you to get connected with God to start your day off properly. We also like to have all of you take time for a good breakfast, but the breakfast when we have outreaches may be a little bit fast, like cereal and light things. On the weekends we'll have a little bit larger or more full breakfast. And then Monday through Friday and Saturday morning we'll go out on outreaches and work from usually about 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll pack a light lunch to take with us, and many of the areas we'll work with will be up to an hour and a half drive from our base camp at Shikaru. In the evening we'll take time and prepare a nice dinner. We expect the team members to join in and help with shopping for the groceries, and also to help in cooking the meals and then in washing the dishes and clean up. Each evening we like to bond with the team, and we'll sit around a campfire, or in the wintertime our fireplace, and we'll just talk about what happened during that day and how God was moving in your lives. And we'd like to have you share with all the rest of us the special emotional things that you're going through and the spiritual enlightenments that come to you as you're here on this mission trip. We also ask you to keep a journal so that you can refer back to things that are happening. Most of them are so impactful you think you'll never forget them, but it really does help to journal and just get your thoughts together when you put them in writing. We do different types of outreaches on different teams, but some typical ones that we do is we will go around and visit orphanages and let you interact with the orphan children, possibly help feed the children, but mostly just befriending them, getting to know them, and loving upon them. During 2014 we're going to be drilling several wells. We'll try to take many of the teams around these projects. It's primarily schools that are in need of clean water, and we'll do eyeglass outreaches at these schools, shoe outreaches, and just check on see how the water projects are coming along also. The optical outreaches is basically we'll teach you to be a lay optometrist. We'll teach you how to do the eye examinations and determine the proper glasses for your patient. Mostly we work with children for the eyeglasses, but often we'll work with adults too in community outreaches. Another very common outreach that we do is a shoe distribution outreach, where we partner with Samaritan's Feet, and they provide us with shoes. We have 50,000 shoes sitting in our warehouse in South Africa, and we will wash the people's feet and sit and talk with them as we're washing their feet and getting the proper size for their shoes, and give them shoes and then pray with them. The same with the optical outreach. It's more of an evangelism than a medical clinical setting. We like to spend about 20 minutes interacting, talking to the people, and just finding out their needs, praying for them, and letting them know that we care for them and Jesus Christ loves them and cares for them as well. Some of the teams will be doing construction projects. We're going to be planting a new church in 2014. We're also going to be building a youth hostel for interns from Iowa State and Des Moines University, and possibly in the future Drake and Wartburg College. So we may need some construction or physical work to help. We'll be drilling all the wells, or maybe some physical work that many of you will be interested in joining with some of that. We do a lot of farming operation, farming vegetables, corn, soy, and recently we've started greenhouse farming, and would love to get many of you involved in helping with that project. And a new project for us in 2014 will be fish farming. So we encourage you to get involved with many of the different things that we're doing. We have a very active sewing ministry and partner with Iowa State with that. And so if you're interested in working with the ladies in sewing projects, there will also be many textile things that you can purchase while you're over there with us that are handmade by our African ladies. We have a church that we planted 2 years ago. We'll ask all of you to attend church with us and help with whatever the church is doing and needs to have done. And in 2014, we'll be planning our second church, and there'll be a lot of meaningful and fun activities that you can help us with in planting the church. As far as fun things, this is a mission trip, and the primary purpose is to do mission work. You'll spend a good 5.5 days working very hard. You'll be tired every night, but we also like to have you have some fun. We actually live on a safari game farm, so you'll get to see the giraffes, the zebras, the wildebeest, and the kudu and warthogs, all kinds of beautiful wild African animals, including lions and elephants. We have a resort that we work with that you can actually walk with adolescent lions that actually look to me like adult lions. We have an experience where you can learn lots and lots about elephants and all of their wonderful gifts of smell and memory. And you can actually ride the elephants on a safari and get lots of beautiful pictures of the animals as you ride on the elephants. I hate shopping, but we do try to get all the teams out to a souvenir shop so that you can purchase souvenirs for your loved ones back home. It's particularly nice if you've raised funds for your mission trip to find some gift that you can give the people that have helped support you on your mission trip. It's very important that you send information back to your supporters and your family while you're on this mission trip. You'll have access to email, and you can communicate with your friends on Facebook, send lots of photos of what you're doing on this mission trip. But I hope this the short video, has been helpful for you in just preparing your hearts and your minds and letting you know some of what's ahead with your upcoming mission trip. We're so happy that you're coming to join us. Thank you.